If it hasn't been clear to the American people that manufacturing is important before last year, it's certainly clear now.
Scott Paul, Executive Director of the Alliance for American Manufacturing, AAM, hosted a roundtable discussion at a book release event in Washington, D.C. to open a dialogue on the effects of the decline in American manufacturing.
We have rising unemployment that will soon hit double digits. We have a current account deficit that includes our trade deficit and some other things thrown in there that is clearly unsustainable and that directly contributed to the economic crisis and collapse that we saw last year.
Manufacturing a Better Future for America outlines why manufacturing is vital to the U.S. economy, providing insight on its value, the obstacles it faces, and the danger of its continuing demise in the absence of major policy changes.
We thought it was a good idea to present to policymakers, opinion leaders, and the American people in a very accessible way how we got into this mess and to take a pretty comprehensive view of manufacturing.
We still today, having gone through 8 years of a real actual depression in the manufacturing sector, we still have very little acknowledgement of how difficult it is going to be to revive the U.S. economy without looking strictly at how to encourage investment in plant and equipment in the United States.
Richard McCormick, the book's editor, illustrates how the decline in manufacturing has decimated communities across America.
When you travel between our industrial cities by Amtrak, and you see the blight, and you see that it's a contagion that's moved beyond the industrial belt now. It's moved into the southeast, the southwest, and the west. Without manufacturing, you're not going to create wealth. You're not going to create the wealth that you need to sustain an industrial, modern economy. You're not going to create enough wealth to pay for education, to pay for health care, to pay for infrastructure, to pay for basic government services, to keep your libraries open. In Virginia, they can't even keep the rest stops open on the freeway.
It's painfully clear after the economic evidence we've seen over the last 18 months and the conclusions of this book that America lacks an industrial strategy and that we desperately need one. Every other country, every other OECD country, every other developing country of any size has an industrial strategy.
Scott Paul outlines why current policies have failed.
But the strategy that we've pursued so far, which is largely laissez-faire, and in fact having a set of tax and trade and investment and other sorts of policies that actively try to encourage consumption of cheap imports and a shift towards a service and knowledge-based economy is a failed strategy.
Clyde Prestowitz, one of the book's many authors, sums it up this way.
The adverse international trade environment is a large part of the reason why American manufacturing has faced such a decline. And so we want to put all the reasons for the decline on paper and then, of course, have our plan to overcome them.